Bayern Munich fans protest at Arsenal ticket costs. This is from the 21st of October 2015. We have been waiting on this for a reason. A Bayern Munich fans group turned up late for their Champions League group match at Arsenal and protested ticket prices for the game. FC Bayern Worldwide, which revealed the protest the week before, did not enter the Emirates for the first 5 minutes of the match, which had a £64 ticket price. There was applause by Gunners fans when the group eventually took their seats. Bayern's fans also displayed a banner which read 64 quid a ticket, pounds a ticket, but without fans, football is not worth a penny. Arsenal manager Arsene Wenger's side won the game 2-0, as we mentioned earlier. And as we mentioned at the time, I will speak with Wenger for the first for next time to make it cheaper for our fans, said Bayern boss Pep Guardiola. We will take care of Arsenal fans in Munich with a good price. They can travel. A BBC Price of Football study which analysed costs of 227 clubs across Britain and Europe, which we went into back in the summer, found that Arsenal have the most expensive matchday ticket in the Premier League at £97. In contrast, Bayern Munich's cheapest season ticket in the Bundesliga is £140. Earlier in October, the Football Supporters Federation, FSF, coordinated protests at all 20 Premier League clubs and 10 Championship teams to call for a £20 cap on away ticket prices. That is the 20's Plenty campaign, if I remember rightly. But also, Swindon Town fan returned season ticket and memorabilia. This was from the 23rd of October 2015. This didn't get as much media coverage, but I'll go into that in a minute. One Swindon fan, Albert Brind, and this was posted into the Facebook group for Pitch Talk by one of the PT family. One Swindon fan, Albert Brind, is so disgusted with what's going on at the club, he has returned his season ticket, club shirt, and over £1,000 worth of memorabilia. It was one of them ones. Swindon parted company with manager Mark Cooper at that time, and they had lost 8 of their last 9 games at that time. Chairman Lee Power had placed himself in temporary charge, with the club slipping into League One's relegation zone at the time as well. Now, in terms of protest, we're kind of mixing and matching. But for me, protesting ticket prices is one thing, and it's all well and good doing it. But I don't know. I mean, G-Man, where does that sit with you? Before I come in with my opinion, where does this protesting ticket prices sit with you? And that Bayern Munich protest of not entering the ground for 5 minutes, was it a bit pointless? And the Swindon Town fan returning his season ticket and memorabilia over what's going on at the club. What's your thoughts on that too?
Well, basically, I've always said with this protesting business, if you're gonna protest, if you're gonna boycott matches, you got to go the full 9 yards. And that means just don't go to the match, don't turn up for the match, and effectively your point, if it's done in its massives, your point will be heard, because there will be silence. That's getting onto the Bayern point. Did it affect anything? No, it didn't, because Arsenal fans were still in the stadium. There was a lot of noise without them. It got eyes on the prize, but effectively, it's not their fight. You get me? In the Bundesliga, you can pick up a Bayern season ticket for something ridiculous. I think the cheapest is like £100 to £300. And they're basically, they've come all the way to England. Obviously they have to pay the £64 to come to the Champions League match, but effectively, if they were to do that every time they come to England, it's not helping them. So what it's done for me, it's taught a little lesson. If there was 50,000 fans plus them who didn't turn up, go into the stadium, that would have been a lot more effective. That would have been more of a statement. But Arsenal fans standing up and applauding them, it's a bit of it's ironic. It's like, we're going to come in, eat pies, watch the game while you were standing outside, and when you come back in, we're going to applaud you. That's like these people that have their camera phones, see someone getting beaten up in the street, film it, and then put it on Facebook and say how terrible it was. Like, I don't get it. And I'll just leave it there, because I know you've got a lot to say, and me and you sit pretty much on the similar borderline, But with the Swindon fan, I feel the guy's pain. I think it's a bit extreme. I think he's let his emotions get the best of him, because especially with the £1,000 worth of memorabilia, I can understand if that's how you feel at the time. Then you got to make your stand. And I was just saying, like, if you're gonna boycott, go the full 9 yards. But I think he went 12 yards because the memorabilia is actually historic. That's that's something that effectively, not only does that live with the club's history, that's lived with his history with the club. And he could have passed that down to kids, and they could have passed it down to kids, and he's just giving it back to the club for free. And again, I'll just say the emotions took over there. But in terms of passion, you got to say, that's what's driven him. He's seen stuff that he just doesn't agree with, and he can't be putting up with it no more. And he's literally put his money where his mouth is.
You beat me to that phrase. You actually did beat me to that phrase. Because like taking this in reverse order, it's like that Swindon fan. It is one of them ones. I agree with you. I didn't look at it from the emotional perspective, in all honesty, but that actually is a good point. I mean, he has let, to an extent, emotion get the best of him, because that memorabilia, I would have kept the memorabilia, and if the club want it back, sell it back. It's hard times, daddy, to quote Dusty Rhodes. But it is one of them ones where it's like, I see it as, he put his balls on the line and put his money where his mouth is at the end of the day, because it's like, you know what, I'm not happy with what's going on, and this is how deep my convictions lie. This is what that's the key phrase I'm going to hang on to. This is how deep my convictions lie. It sounds like an obligatory wrestling reference from Right to Censor in 2000, which it kind of is. But it is a case of, he has shown how deep his convictions lie in the fact that he's like, you know what, I really don't like this, and you know what, shove it, I've had enough, which is pretty much what he said. He's like, no, that's it, stick it, I've had enough. And it's one of them was, he's disgusted with what's happened, but the only thing is, I said, that didn't get the media coverage that it really should have at the time, which in my view is a little bit sad, really. But one of the main things for me is the fact that one of the main things for me is just the fact that returning your memorabilia, all well and good. Returning your season ticket and memorabilia, all good, because it sends a statement. But if only one person is doing it out of 20,000, then it's almost cutting off your nose. It's kind of cutting off your nose to spite your face, really. But it's a case of the Bayern Munich fans not entering the ground for 5 minutes. What good is that really going to do, in my view? That's the way I look at it. What good is a 5-minute boycott going to do? If you really want to protest, and put your money where your mouth is, you do what happened in the Rome derby, because one of Europe's most passionate derbies was played out in front of thousands of empty seats on Sunday as fans of Roma and Lazio boycotted their game in protest over increased security measures at the Olympic Stadium in Rome. Supporters of both clubs continued the protest, which has seen them refuse to attend recent home games over the decision to erect extra barriers in the curve behind each goal. The clubs who share the stadium were ordered by local authorities to introduce the measures to enable police to enter the areas in case of crowd trouble. I hope this situation is resolved soon, and I hope the derby can become a celebration again, Roma midfielder Alessandro Florenzi said. The Stadio Olimpico has a capacity of just over 72,000. Around 50,000 fans have watched the game in recent seasons, but just 35,000 were expected on Sunday, although no official attendance was given. Fans who chose to boycott the game showed their support for the teams by packing out their final pre-match training sessions and following the players from the team hotel to the stadium before watching the action on screens in the city. Now, for me, that's how you do a protest, and doing it on a big level as well. Now, a couple hundred or a couple thousand Bayern fans not entering the ground for 5 minutes, for me, that's not a protest. For me, that's you being an idiot. You've paid 64 quid for your ticket, and you're gonna miss some of the game on purpose. For me, it's the same rationale behind leaving a game early. when you know stuff can happen. Hey, Premier League of late goals, you know that stuff can happen in the last couple of minutes. So I agree with Jurgen Klopp with what he was saying about, well, I don't know where those fans were going when they were leaving, 85 minutes in after Scott Dan's goal on 82. So I would be thinking to myself as well, where the hell are you going? It's one of them ones. Don't celebrate our successes if you can't support us during our defeats and during the hard times. That's what I look at it as at the end of the day. But for me, with this whole ticket cost, as I've said before, I've said it on Facebook, said it on PT live shows when we've discussed this before. At the end of the day, and the Gman has mainly championed this call to action as well. It's a case of just don't go. If you feel that strongly, just don't go. Because these Bayern fans are complaining about 64 quid a ticket, but have still paid it. So your money's already gone into the coffers of the club who you think is ripping you off. That's like buying a sandwich and saying, "Nah, I don't want this sandwich. I don't like how much it costs." But you've already bought it. So whatever you waste, that's your loss. That is your loss. I mean, 5-minute protest, what is that going to do? If you didn't come in for the whole first half, okay, maybe that would be a little bit of a middle ground. Or if you didn't go to the game at all. But the fact of the matter is, you purchased your ticket already. So the club's already got your money. So why are they going to give a damn? Why is the club going to do anything when they've already got your money? It's like, boy, you can protest, and well, that little thing with potentially leaving bin bags a while ago. It's one of them ones. You can do that all you want. We've already got what we need from you, and that's your money. And if we've already got your money, who's the fool now? It's like I posted something on Facebook a couple of days ago where it's like it's similar to for me I liken this kind of crap to people who complain about X Factor but then watch it every single week and then clog up my Facebook feed and my Twitter feed complaining about it. If you don't like what something stands for, if you don't like what it's about, and you don't like the result, vote with your remote, vote with your feet. Don't watch it. Don't go. So at least that Swindon Town fan, at least Albert Brind, he was so disgusted that he was like, no, I'm not gonna take this no more. Screw it, I quit. It's one of them ones. At least he was willing to actually do that. All right, maybe a little bit of a misguided decision, maybe a very emotional decision that he might have regretted in hindsight, but at least he had the balls to stand up and do it. At least he had the balls to do it. So it's a case of, I said, with these Roma fans in the Rome derby, kind of a weird reason as to why they're boycotting, because it's like, if there's trouble, we know about the Rome Ultras and that there's been trouble with them in the past before, like when Man United went over to Rome. It's a case of, we've seen the Rome Ultras, so them protesting over kind of extra security measures is kind of weird in my view. But it's one of them ones, at least they had the balls to go, you know what, we'll still show our support to the team. Like, we'll follow the team bus and cheer them on, but because we're sending a message to the powers that be, we're going to leave the stadium half empty and not go in.
See, Liam, I wanted to touch on that because I actually missed that, but it kind of angers me, yeah, to hear that, you know, you're right. It's a successful boycott, you know, they managed to put it together. But look at the reasonings, just like what you said, look at the reasonings for what they're doing it. What? So they can be, you know, clubs respectively are trying to make a safer ground for the public, you know, to make it a nicer place for people wanting to go to the game, for players not to get abused and all sorts, yeah. And you got these, and I don't want to be judgmental and disrespectful to any ultras out there, because I really wouldn't want to be walking down a street in Italy if I go in the future and get my face punched in. But you are animals, yeah, who just want to go to the game and cause trouble and cause riots, you know, and those sort of things, throw flares on the pitch, disrupt the matches, yeah. And they managed to pull off a boycott, you know, to protect that. They're not protecting the players who might get racial abuse. They're not protecting the players who get abuse in general. They're not protecting the young
kids and women and, you know, old people and, you know, young males that go to the game that are not into the violence. They're just doing it for some self-absorbed, egotistical, I don't know, rampant, whatever words you want to put with it, yeah. They just want to do it for some superficial cause.
But see, for me, that's the concerning thing, is that, yeah, it's all good protesting, but just make sure you're protesting for the right damn reason. That's what I'm looking at. Just protest for the right damn reason. I mean, that's where I think the Roma and Lazio fans are a bit confused. All right, they know how to protest. That's all well and good. Nothing wrong with it. But do it for the right reason. That would be like me. That would be like me complaining about complaining about grassroots football and a lack of support for grassroots football, but then coming out and congratulating the FA and saying, yeah, they're doing everything they can for grassroots football. It's like, nah, it doesn't work that way. It legitimately doesn't work that way. It's sending a very hypocritical and contradictory message out.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like, but the police are apparently bringing in extra safety measures. Why are you protesting against that? That's like the USA protesting against the National Health Service. It's like, it doesn't make any sense. To me, it doesn't make any bloody sense. Why would you protest against something that's going to help so many other people? It's not about the needs of the few, it's about the needs of the many. And I wish football would buck up their ideas and realize that. I mean, it's a crazy one. It really and truly is. It's mad. I mean, Brad Hicks has mentioned in terms of protests. That's what the Ferencváros did against Videoton in Hungary last season, because they wanted handprints and DNA. So in terms of protesting, he's also said that's what a lot of Euro clubs do in big derbies in terms of boycotting games. So I meit's just one of them ones that it just frustrates me when I see these half-hearted, for lack of a better term, half-assed protests. Because what is 5 minutes gonna do? What the hell is 5 minutes? What the hell is 5 minutes going to do? That I don't know. I mean, what is 5 minutes worth of protesting going to do? That's what I would look at.